Hey everybody, it's Krista with Magnolia Ridge Farm and Gardens, and I am back. I know it seemed like I disappeared, but I haven't. I actually have a couple videos that I had filmed before Thanksgiving and was trying to edit and get them posted, and they were the really long ones, just because of what was going on with what I was doing and stuff. And my computer program apparently does not like long videos, and it will just randomly shut down while I'm doing something. And then of course on the longer videos you're like having to bring it back up and then go all the way to the end, and right when you get to the end it'll just shut down again. So I once again unloaded it from the computer and re-downloaded it, and I got like halfway through a video and it did it again. It doesn't do it as bad on the little videos, it's just like those long ones. I don't know what's going on, so I gotta figure that out. But those may come at you later once I get that figured out. Until then, it's a lot easier to do shorter videos and deal with that problem. So we're going to go back to some like concise subjects, and I'll just break up what I'm doing instead of trying to do 50 million things during the day and then, you know, edit it all together. I'll just keep cutting it off and do little chunks because that seems to be much easier to edit, honestly. And the computer seems to like it better. So today I want to just wish everyone, I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. We had a great Thanksgiving, and my kitchen is still a little bit of a mess from Thanksgiving. Like, I have clean dishes and I've got a couple big things that I need that have been soaking and things like that. So anyway, but as we get into the holiday season, one of the things that I know everyone found me for, I know some of you have found me since then, but when I first started, YouTube was at the beginning of this year, and it was during the pantry challenge with Three Rivers Homestead, and that's how a lot of people have found me. Well, that's probably coming up again. I'm going to do it again in January, February. I know she's probably going to do it again as well, although she's going to have a baby, so I don't know. I'm assuming she's going to do it. If not, we definitely will be, because it was great. But I'm actually going to kind of start now because we spent a lot of money, like just over the fall and going into Christmas to buy gifts and, you know, things like that. And things are not getting cheaper. I went into the store right before Thanksgiving, which I had gotten a lot of my supplies actually back in October and September, because I didn't need a ton of things. We raise our own turkeys, so, you know, that's taken care of. And we have our own green beans that we can. So there's just, you know, a few things that I needed. Like, I do box stuffing. I admit it. There you have it. I have made real stuffing before several times, and my husband loves box stuffing because that's what he grew up on. So I gave in on that a long time ago because that's like the taste of his childhood. So what is it? Stovetop stuffing? Right here, y'all. Okay, so I needed stovetop stuffing. I've made amazing homemade cranberry relish. My kids like the canned stuff, so whatever. I buy canned cranberry sauce. And I use real cranberries for other things like homemade cranberry juice. So there were a few things that I wanted to grab. Most of that I had gotten ahead of time. But I needed milk, and there was something else I needed. I can't remember what it was. We just happened to run out of milk, and there was a sale on butter. Oh, I remember what it was. I decided at the last minute I wanted to do a charcuterie board over the weekend, because after eating these heavy foods, I was like, you know, Saturday after we've been eating leftovers, it would be a really good time to have some fresh veggies and just, you know, snacky, fresh stuff. So garden's over. I don't have fresh vegetables. I don't have fresh fruits. So I went to the store to get items for a charcuterie board, and it was like $200 for a half a cart of stuff. It was insane. I about fell out. And, you know, I've watched prices go up a little at a time. But man, every time you go, it's just a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. So I got to thinking about that, and I was like, we have all this food. We have all this wonderful food in the freezers and in canned and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and start planning my meals around that to cut back. Now, I'm not going to go completely off the grocery store like we do in January, February, but I am going to plan all my meals and stuff around what we have so that I can limit what we're getting at the grocery store. Now, I'm still going to take advantages of the sales, like cranberries, fresh cranberries. When those go on sale, because everybody's kind of done with them for the holidays, I will snag some of those so that I can make some more cranberry juice for next year. So that got me to thinking of cleaning out my pantry and kind of inventorying, which is a great prep for January, February. And since I am finished with my busy season, hallelujah, at work, I am now pretty much on vacation until January. Not like vacation, but I have very little that I actually have to do at work. So I'm going to be focusing on the farm, the plans for spring, the pantry, Christmas, doing some things that I need to get done. I actually have several projects on the list for the next 2 weeks that I will be sharing with you. But back to the pantry, this is a great time to do that. Also, I'm, starting to clean out things and try to cut down on all our stuff. So perfect timing for this. Well, that brought me to sharing this book with you. My husband and son went to a veteran supply store back in late September, early October to find pieces for my son's Halloween costume. They needed some camo pants and shirt. And they wanted to go ahead and get like the good quality military gear because my son goes outside all the time and he plays hard. So it was kind of a double duty. Well, while there, my husband picked up this book, and this book is actually on my Amazon list. And I will link that below because it's actually cheaper on Amazon than he got it at the military supply store. But I picked it up the other day and I started reading it, and I came across this section that actually talks about the different types of pantries. Now, I am not a quote-unquote prepper. Like, I am, but I'm not. Like, I've always kind of been prepared for electricity outage in the winter because where we are, we get ice. We don't really get a lot of snow. And I remember back in the late 90s when I was in high school, we had a bad ice storm and we actually lost power for over 3 weeks because we're outside the city and on a back road. And so they just didn't come here. We were one of the last ones to get serviced. So we didn't have power for 3 weeks. And that kind of thing is what I prepare for. So we also are prone to hurricanes and, just things like that. So I've always had the mindset growing up, because we were a farm family, that you prepare for emergencies because you never know what's going to happen. And you put up the food that we harvest during harvest and you eat on it during the winter. We never really lived in that mindset of run to the grocery store and get what you want for the day. And I actually had kind of gotten into that as our lives changed and my husband and I were working full time and we were having babies. And it became more of a convenience factor to, on the way home from work, be like, oh, I feel like hamburger helper tonight, and stop by because we were tired. We were living such a fast-paced life. And we still are exhausted. I mean, we're parents, we're farmers, we're business owners. We have so much going on. But now we're trying to live it more intentionally. So anyway, I came across this interesting section. It talked about the different types of preppers and the different types of pantries. And the first one is called the bunker pantry, according to this book. And I think that's more what people think of when they think of preppers, is people who have this stockpile of MREs and, long storage food for the end times. And they're going to, live in the blast from the past bunker for 50 years or something. And that's, while there are those people out there, I don't think that's the majority of what most preppers are today. In all intents and purposes, I guess I would be considered a prepper because I have what would be called the agrarian pantry. And that's something we've always done as a farm family. And that's where you take the harvest and take fresh seasonal foods and you put them away and you preserve them to eat through the year. That also falls in line with eating seasonally. Eating seasonally does not mean necessarily going out and buying whatever's in season at that time, because if you're doing that, there's something in season all over the world and it's shipped in. It is eating what grows in your area when it is available and preserving that to eat through the winter when nothing's available. So we have basically an agrarian pantry. Now then there's what they're calling the bargain hunter's pantry, and I think this is more in line of the average person, you know, trying to stock up for an emergency situation or bulk shopping. And what that is people who look for those cyclical sales to get the best price on items, and then they stockpile those items to get them through until that cyclical sale comes around. And it even mentions that show, the extreme couponing or whatever. I tried that for about 6 months. I am not organized enough to live that life. And also, you know, the stores have kind of quit honoring those coupon deals. Harris Teeter was the one around here that did it. And when they had their sales and their double coupon days and triple coupon days, I would try to do that. But I don't even know that they do that anymore at all. This was years ago. So anyway, you can fall into one of those three categories, or you can do a mixture of those categories. And basically, to break it down very simply, bunker pantry, where it's long storage items. Bargain hunter pantry, where you're looking for sales on canned goods, you know, basically anything. Agrarian pantry, where you're still looking for in-season items that are on sales and getting things like at farmers markets, or when you see a good sale at Food Lion, that's our local grocery store chain, or Buy Low or Lowe's Foods, whatever you have, and then preserving it. You can do that as well if you're not a farmer. A lot of people will do that. They will go and make deals with farmers or go to the grocery stores or things like that and stock up and then preserve it. That's still a agrarian pantry, but then it borderlines between the stockpile bargain hunter pantry. And I think most agrarian pantries are probably a combination. But then, you know, things like this that are long-term storage, you can also get those on bargains, because this is a heck of a lot cheaper than this normally. It just depends on where you shop and what deals you get. So going into the end of this year, with prices going up, the economy, we all know what's going on. Take a look at your pantry and see where you might be able to use the items that are in there to benefit you right now through the holiday season, when your budgets are changing to incorporate gifts and things like that, as well as what you may need to get through the winter, because they say it's going to be a cold one for us here in North Carolina, but you know, I've heard that before and it was very mild. I don't know what it's going to do, but I know I like being prepared, because when they holler for snow and everyone rushes to the grocery store, I don't have to. I don't have to deal with that madness. I'm just like, yeah, whatever, we're good for a few weeks. So, and that was the way it was during the pandemic as well, when everyone kind of rushed to the stores, or, you know, was freaking out because they were afraid everything was shut down and they couldn't go anywhere. We were fine. So it brings comfort and lessens anxiety to have a little bit of a backup plan. So whether you consider yourself a prepper or consider me a prepper, whatever, it's time to take a look at those pantries for this season and to examine kind of where you fall and what you're looking to achieve. If you are looking to achieve an agrarian style pantry and, you know, grow your gardens, that's great. And hopefully I can help you do that, because that's what I'm here for, is to record my journey and share some knowledge to hopefully help anybody, because I love that. And I actually used to, a long time ago, back before kids, this is right after my husband and I got married actually, So we've been together 16 years. So I'd say like 15 years ago, I had a food blog, and it was called The Garden Gourmet. I think it's still out there somewhere. And I would show pictures of my garden and all the different recipes that I was doing, and I absolutely adored it. And then I had children, and it just kind of went to the wayside because of our busy, crazy lives. So I kind of feel like this is a bit of a transition from that, and this is the modern version. You know, YouTube is my food blog now, but it has more of the garden and the other informational things, aspects into it, which I love. So that is all for today. I'm going to start some projects here in a bit. I hope you enjoyed this little random talk and it gets you to thinking. I will link this book, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.